Lovely, lovely, wonderful people. A pleasant afternoon to you. All right, lovely people. So, battling this cold. Cheese and peas. Tired of the blowing of the nose and the coughing. And I think because the time is so chilled and chilly and cold, why it holds on even longer. All right. I saw something. It says weird news. I'm looking in the I bought the Jamaica Star today. It says phone scrolling could make you look less attractive. Let's read it. That's an interesting one. Endlessly scrolling on your phone may be doing more damage than draining your battery. It could also be making you far less attractive to others. There's some truth to it. One of the most disheartening things is if I'm in somebody's space and they're just on the phone scrolling and we're not having a conversation. I mean, I know I'm not expecting us to just talk 24/7, 48, 14, but there's something that is just so disrespectful and dishonoring about that. I don't know. I just, you will have your moments when you will drift off, yes, but this consistent. Somebody does it to me and I know what I don't like it. It's really, I let me see where this goes. A study by psychologists at Korea University in Seoul found that so-called phubbing, that is PHUBBING, that I'm assuming that's how they pronounce it, phubbing, snubbing someone in favor of your phone leaves a distinctly bad impression. See what I'm saying? Absolutely. Somebody does it to me I said, sometimes when I come, you've gotten so used to this phone that you don't even realize that when somebody say you go on the phone scrolling and laughing and all of that because you're saying something funny, it is disrespectful, and it is a big turn off. People who were glued to their screens were judged as colder, less intelligent, and generally less likable than those who stayed present. Then once you build a camaraderie and you're people-centric and people-focused, that's naturally going to be the case. But if you're constantly on your phone, if somebody comes in and you're constantly scrolling, because it becomes addictive, you don't even realize it, that when people are there, you're on the phone. You know what I mean? To test the effect, researchers showed volunteers images of couples sitting together in a cafe. In some pictures, one partner was focused on their phone. In others, both were engaged with each other. The difference was stark. Participants consistently rated the phone scrollers as significantly less warm, less competent, and less appealing as social companions. Oh God, it didn't even take a study to figure that out. I mean, with my experience and the fact that everybody else is human, it generally will be that case. You'll have one or two will say it's not a biggie, but generally it is. Study author Dr. Tae-Yeon Kim said our results indicated that phubbing behavior harmed perceptions of warmth and competence. So it's not just warm, but your competence. I think that your emotional intelligence or your intelligence quotient, which is a high level of knowledge, is weak, subpar, under the water, weightless, baseless. This makes the phobber seem like a less attractive social partner, thereby lowering likability, and that might make them less desirable social relationship partners. And it says there were a few exceptions. Obviously, it will always have exceptions. Participants were more forgiving when phone use appeared necessary, such as checking a message for work or responding to something urgent. But I think it is quite distasteful. I think it is. I mean, I'm not expecting you to be conversing and talking to somebody, right through and through like your mouth can't lock, because, there's something wrong with that. There has to be a balance. But if consistently, you're on, and you're just in the phone, and it's not a case where they're trying to ignore you, it's not a situation like that. It's really a case where they have a problem. It is addictive that they don't even realize that they're consistently on the phone, even when they're in meetings. It is a bad bad sign. And I agree with that study. They never had to do a study for me to agree with it, to be honest. But people like proof for things, where they get the proof from, and people can't just accept, that something can just be factual without having everybody having to say the same thing. We always have to go with majority. I mean, I understand there is a place for that. It's science, it's a part of the sciences, natural and social. That it has to be something that is consistent, so that you can corroborate the story. But it makes it seem as if I experience it, it is not factual. You know what I mean? We're humans. We're created to be relational, and people are being relational with their phones. The phones, somebody told me some years ago that two persons went on a date, a man and a woman, and they were corresponding via the phone. This is long before you have AI really coming in full effect, and maybe it's at the advent of Facebook and so on. So I'm talking long time ago, and I heard that they were texting each other around the table. I mean, I can understand if they were just joking around for the moment, but they really weren't. They were so glued to the phone. That is what they did. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. That could not work with me. I would have my trigger would have just all trigger points would have go off. Every alarm would have go off. Everything. You know what I mean? I would have to leave right away, because me know say a midnight I come. Me I go get dark. So it's an unfortunate situation. And I think a lot of, or a big part and parcel, is that a lot of people were not trained to be sociable. Back in, as a child, and before even my time as a child, we used to play a lot. You think playing is just rubbish and it just idling? No. Playing is necessary. It is imperative. It is important. It is necessary. It behooves that child or those children to play, because it builds social connection. It teaches a child how to relate to other people. It even teaches a child compassion, that when something goes wrong, they will know how to operate in a right and in a wise manner. So playing is not something idle, unless you're doing too much of it. You know what I mean? Where you don't become focused on your education and learning and gaining more knowledge and becoming more wise and becoming more valuable to society. No, there has to be a balance, and I believe in that. But what I'm saying to you, my wonderful people, is that it is imperative to be sociable, and that part of that socialization comes with how you rapport with each other. Part of that comes with that. So you have to train and teach your children to relate to each other. You see, we're living in an age where, as a pick them born, you give them a phone in them hand. So when they grow up, they don't know how to handle relationships. They don't know how to handle platonic relationships, more so intimate relationships. And when I'm talking intimate, I'm talking romantic, erotic, because you can have platonic relationships that are intimate. It is devoid of sex. Intimacy is a deep-seated, deep-rooted spiritual and social connection. All right, so when you hear the word intimacy, you don't always just think sex. No, it is something deep and abiding. It's like a relationship between David and Jonathan. It was devoid of sex. So even though he said, I love him more than that of women, he was speaking in terms of, if him see same friend love that girl and him like that girl, and him friend really, really check for that girl, him not gonna leave, him not gonna try and mash up the relationship, him not gonna try get into it, him not gonna try sleep with him friend, girlfriend or wife. You know what I mean? Because I know David was a man who love woman bad. So it was the respect he had for his friend that him not gonna put no woman above it, or make no woman come in and tell him things and mash up him friendship. So that is what he meant. It was not something erotic. Just a deep and an abiding platonic brother, deep friendship. Anyway, guys, to do read TikTok and YouTube. subscribe, give me one of those lines, follow me